guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Box. Today we are going to be breaking down the symbolisms and the actions that happened during Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl. His Super Bowl performance was a nod to the American people to get a message across politically, but then also storytelling about his culture and the past and present coming together. So let's dive in. Kendrick Lamar is an American rapper who came from Compton, California, who has grown up in the hoods, has had not an easy life, and he is a very famous rapper for a diss track that is pointed directly towards Drake. He just won not just 3 Grammys, but I guess 5 Grammys for this diss track, and everybody is losing their minds over it. When Kendrick was announced to do the Super Bowl, the number one question really was, is he going to play Not Like Us? Yeah. Because that is his top number one song right now. Everybody was like, can he even perform it? Will they even allow him? Will Drake even have a say in this because it is about him? There are a lot of things about this performance that was controversial, so we're going to break down what those were. We thought it would be a great idea and topic to talk about this because not only does it affect and stand for a bigger meaning in today's world, but also we just saw a lot of people didn't really understand his entire performance. And if you didn't look at his performance and watch it carefully, we could see how it could go over your head. Yeah. So we just thought, why not just explain it if you didn't want to rewatch it and or you still just have no idea what it could be about. And a lot of people are kind of putting together that this performance by Kendrick wasn't really made for certain types of groups of people. Yes. I.e., if you're older than Boomer, you might not have really gotten anything from it. And a lot of people have to break it down, and that is something where change is going to come from. Let's talk about the symbolism. Let's talk about the culture, the storyline of what his performance is all about. The number one thing that Kendrick has told press and everything in his interviews is that he wanted to come out of the gates with a cultural yet appropriate story. It has to have a story. He loves his concerts to be a storyline as well. He starts off with Samuel L. Jackson coming out as Uncle Sam. Let's just talk about why Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam is actually a very big part of his storyline. Everyone knows the general things about Uncle Sam, but having Samuel play Uncle Sam is basically him poking at the rap industry and Kendrick in general and the Black community as a whole, saying things constantly throughout the performance. You got to tone it down. This is too ghetto. This is too Black. This is not the norm of the American people. This is not something we are used to. You need to sit down and be quiet, essentially. This is what Uncle Sam, the character... Be tamed. Yeah, be tamed. Yeah. Be tame. Don't do things that are considered Black or political. Don't like controversy. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam was basically just representing our country, telling the Black community and the rappers of the industry, tone it down, stay quiet, be humble. No one wants to hear from you. Yeah. And that is just an over sense of what is happening in today's culture. Yeah. So having Samuel L. Jackson come out was amazing. And he was like more of a narrator through this entire performance. He would come in and come out before and after songs just to kind of move the storyline along. The next big thing was his guest. He brought out SZA and he brought out Serena Williams, which are 2 women who are Drake's exes. SZA had performed 2 songs with Kendrick, and Serena Williams appeared as a cameo crip walking during the song Not Like Us, and that is directly towards Drake. The fact that she's an ex of his while also crip walking on a diss track to him is very iconic and very petty, but the good petty, I think. And she also connects with Kendrick Lamar because of her upbringing. She grew up as well in Compton, just like Kendrick, so they are very similar in that sense in their early beginnings, but also she was criticized so hard when she won the 2012 Olympics for tennis. She won gold and she decided to dance, and it looked like she was crip walking, and I guess the world did not like that for her. They did not think that crip walking was an appropriate dance when you won the Olympics for the United States. And they called her too black. They called her just ghetto, atrocious things that anyone could throw at her. She was called that for literally celebrating a win. Whether that was because she crip walked or just because they did not like the fact that a black woman won tennis. And having her there on the biggest stage possible, crip walking, was kind of a nod to that timeline of when she got criticized in public and on national TV for dancing after she won the Olympics in 2012. So that was a huge visual symbolism as well. The next thing is how Kendrick came out of the gate with his Mad Lib. I didn't get every single word he said, but he was Mad Libbing something. But then right before the song starts, he goes, the revolution is about to start. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. And so he's verbalizing, he knows this is going to be a political statement. He knows this is going to cause controversy. He knows that this is going to be something that the world is going to talk about.
And the world is talking about it. His halftime performance took the country, and I think other people outside the country, if they watch football or whatever, but mainly the US that I'm speaking about, it's on everyone's minds. You know, a lot of people tuned into the halftime show and the Super Bowl in general. So for you to make this big announcement or political statement or however he felt or feels or message, it's huge because he knew and knows so many people were going to watch the NFL that day.
Yeah.
And so to make that big statement was just huge.
Yeah. His performance starts out with him on an old Buick car. And I guess this is a nod to his upbringing. I guess it's a model or an upgraded model of his grandfather's car that he used to drive in a lot in Compton when he was growing up. And so that is a very emotional and cultural connection to him. So he wanted that car on stage and present. And that's what they did. And I guess they had to jump through hoops to find this one car because there's only one car made and Kendrick now has it. That was a cultural nod to his upbringing about the car, but then also his entire stage was if you looked at it from like the top view,
like bird's eye,
thank you, is a game controller. He wanted this to kind of represent that he was playing the game and that life is a game. It goes on, you don't see how it will end. It's just a game and
there's rules and laws that you need to obey to make it to the end of the game, essentially. And right now in our country, a lot of people feel like we're in a simulation. We're in a game. This is a joke, essentially. And so I think that is a great way for him to show that.
Yeah. Another big part of this was his dancers. He had a lot of people around him 24/7 during this performance. They were all dressed up in American flag colors, so red, white, and blue. And a lot of people are nitpicking it. Why are they in American colors? Why are they separated on the floor a lot of the time? Is he trying to portray the fact that the U.S. right now, like May said, is divided, is not together, do not agree on a lot of things? Is that because of the past election? Is that of the American history? Because we've always been kind of divided in some ways. Why are some of the group dancers not blending together, but also they keep to their own side? And so a lot of people are seeing that as a nod to what is happening in this world. Another big part was, and I think a lot of people got it, even if you didn't know who Kendrick was, when he sings Humble or goes into Humble from Squabble Up, the dancers form a flag around Kendrick, and he is the one thing that is dividing the flag. And supposedly, he is the only star in that flag. That's a nod to him, but then also he's showing that there is a divide in the United States. And people saw that, and that is one of the biggest visual symbolisms he had in this performance, was that flag and how he was in the center of it.
I think it's amazing that he was able to pick out simple colors of our flag, but make such a huge impact, make it such a huge statement with those three simple colors. Everyone knows what our color flag is made out of, but when you really take the time to dig into it and come and think about this huge story, how can you make a statement? You use the color of your flag. And that's huge. On top, like you said earlier, the president was there. So it's not like you can just get around this and not pay attention to it because it literally is the main colors of the American flag.
He teases the not like us at the beginning because we're all thinking about it, but then he kind of derails and goes into different songs. Has SZA come out, do her performance with him, has Serena appear, and then at the end, or like the second to last, before he sings Not Like Us, he goes on a small rant and says, you know, I want to give what the American people want, but you know how they love to sue. And that is all about Drake, 100% about Drake, and about how he would not going to perform this because of a potential sue, but because he is nationally performing Not Like Us, it is a nod to Drake and saying, hey, come for me, I don't care. And so he gave us what we wanted. We all wanted that song to come out. And so as soon as that song started, we all knew what was coming.
Also, why wouldn't you perform the one song that gave you 5 Grammys? Like, obviously, yes, it's a diss track, but you do want to perform that song that everyone loved so much that made you win.
Yeah.
And it was a complete swipe off the floor with that song in every single category he was nominated for. So I think it's funny, and I've seen a lot of videos about it where people are just like, if Kendrick can diss Drake and win all of the nominations, I can be petty, which I think it's funny. And to do it on the biggest stage, also funny.
Yeah. So he gets through Not Like Us. We love it. The crowd's going crazy. He now has to end his performance in a big way because you can't end with Not Like Us. He ended his performance with bringing out his best friend, DJ Mustard. And if you have not heard about DJ Mustard, he's a producer and he's best friends with Kendrick, and he always works and collaborates with him on his tracks. And so that's why Kendrick brought him out. They're very good buddies. The way that he ended Turn Your TV Off with the words in the crowd that said game over. People are thinking that is symbolism for turn off your TV, turn off the consumption of the news, and actually be a participant in these protests. In whatever you do, be supportive and be a participant instead of just being a consumer. But also fight for what matters, stand up for what you think is right, and turn off the TV simply and actually do something.
Yeah.
Because change will not happen unless you are physically going out there to do it. And that was a very big visual representation of just turning it off. And he even clicked off the TV when he was done.
He believes that everyone should be present in today's world and society because it can change the future. You know, our future will not change. Our history will not change if no one does anything about it. So I think him saying, be present, get out there, fight for what you believe in, is telling people literally to do that instead of sitting there watching things happen here and there, but then having no change at the end of the day. I think that is his main call to action, as you will, to the country, saying, I said this is where I stand, now it's your turn. Go do it.
Yeah. Relatively altogether, it was a story about his culture, his upbringing, who he is as a man, and also his beliefs, but also a call to action to get up and start a revolution, to stand up for what is right, to make your voice be heard. And he is very good at making songs that portray that message. And overall, the performance with all of these small little antics all made that message of get up, let's actually be a participant in our revolution.
Like, let's get going.
Yeah.
Before it's too late, essentially, because game over, in my mind, could also be like, well, we didn't do anything. And if you can see where our leadership is headed, you can come to conclusions it's not a great ending.
Yeah.
I think that's also what game over could have stood for, but I just love how he was able to just say what he wanted to say, end it with a call to action, and gets the viewers to think about it. I think that's crucial when it comes to making a stance. You have to have people talking. You have to have people thinking about it after you're done. And he did exactly that. Hats off to him, his team, everyone that went into the production of the Super Bowl halftime show. It was amazing. And I hope more and more people are able to look at this performance and being like, damn, he had the balls to do this nonetheless in front of the president. And so congrats to him. It was an amazing show. I loved it personally.
I did.
I know some other people hated it, but it's also because they don't understand it, which that's fair. It can be tough to understand the little details, and if you don't know it, it can be confusing. But the overall picture should not be hard to comprehend.
Yes.
But I know it can be for some.
Yes. And this was just our takeaway of the performance. Obviously, there are a lot of opinions in this world. So if you also have small little insights on what you guys think some symbolism was on this performance, let us know in the comments. Obviously, this is just based off what May and I thought while we were literally watching it, so our notes are a little mashed up. I'm sorry about that. I think those are the main bigger points, I would say. Just like May said, it was a great performance. If you didn't understand it at first, maybe I hope that you watch this and then go back and rewatch it and kind of see if you also get that message. Or if you come out with a completely different message, that is okay too. As an artist, you want people to form their own opinions. You want them to form their own story in your art. And he kind of left it where some will have the same views, others will not. And that is okay. And I think he taught America a lesson and is highlighting some of the bad parts of what is happening right now. And I just have to give him props for that. That is going to be the end of our podcast.
All in all, I loved it. It was great. Obviously, like G said, this is our own take. Obviously, we probably missed some other details in there, but these are just pretty much the bigger ones that everyone is focusing on. But yeah, if you haven't seen his performance and you want to know what we're talking about, make sure you go look it up. You can find it literally anywhere, I'm assuming. And we're interested to see what you guys thought of the halftime show.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Hate it? Do you agree with some of the things he said? Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? G and I want to keep these channels talking and having people comment so we can keep the conversation going.
Just be mindful of being cordial. You can have your own opinion, just keep it respectful.
Yeah. Let's keep it cordial. Obviously, not everyone's gonna agree, and that's okay at the end of the day, but that doesn't mean you can go around spewing hate and vulgar language and things just because other people don't agree with you. But that's all that we have for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, be kind to others and happy yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.